All right. Oh, shoot. Okay. So let me open up the my task list. Look, task list from yesterday, and I will create a new one for today. Um, the image fade one instance thing is probably what I want to do right now, as that's a problem I kind of encountered yesterday, and then decided I didn't feel like doing out of uh because of time, I guess. I don't know. So how the heck will this work? There should only be one image fade instance. That's what I was going for before. We will instantiate it only if one doesn't already exist, and we will simply change it off of the existing one. So it means so we create if it doesn't exist. Sure. Let's go to the image fade. Where is it? It's in fade. Okay. So Sound Manager is also an instance of fade. That's kind of weird. I'll write that down as well in my notes. Um, Sound Manager class, formerly BGM, is it implements fade. Probably shouldn't. Wrong file. Okay. This does need an instance. We're gonna say if instance is null, we will create it. Um, an image fade, I guess it needs, since I'm accessing the rect transform every time we instantiate, I may as well set it here. So that I don't need to do get component. Um, let me think. So image fade can exist in different scenes. So how does that work? Am I going to be moving it onto, like, whenever I change scene? Maybe it could be whenever I change scene. I will destroy this, so it will not be marked as don't destroy on load. But then instance. Hmm. Instance cannot be static in that situation. If I otherwise, like if I'm not the one who's manually destroying it, then instance is going to have an error about pointing to an object that's been destroyed. So I could make it don't destroy on load, but then it's not going to be visible unless I change how it functions. One way to change how it functions is don't make it on the canvas, make it use a sprite renderer and it'll appear in front of the canvas. Meaning the camera is pointing toward the canvas. Well, that won't work if the canvas is overlay because it's always going to be on top of the camera. So no. So the other option is we will always put the image fade whenever we change scene. We're gonna change its or update its parent. That doesn't sound terrible. So what that means is in Dear Diary Scene Manager, on scene loaded, we will check if image fade dot instance is not equal to null. Image fade dot instance dot rect transform. Okay, so in this case, it's gonna need to be public. Hmm. Another way to do this, by the way, instead of instantiating something, is to also use Canvas Group here. What I could do with Canvas Group is I can find whatever canvas is active and just change its alpha on the canvas group gradually, like have that fade out. And what does that accomplish? If the camera background is black, then that would be the same effect as having the image fade out. I kind of like that idea. So let me try that. That also opens up if if I wanted to do the thing where there's only one camera. Is there a way for me? So I guess. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna try. Disabling the camera in all of these scenes. This one's weird. But it's probably fine. Whoops. End demo as well. Use overlay with no camera. All right. Now, so I've switched task. I'm doing this one. We're not doing this thing with multiple cameras. What we're doing is there's only one camera. And what I'll have to do is I believe I'll have to make the camera change scene. So can I do that? Unity move object between scenes. It says this only works on game objects being moved to a scene that is already loaded. Additive. Anyway, title main camera. I need to mark this as don't destroy on load right now. So Dear Diary scene manager is the first thing I need to go to. I'm not going to worry about that right now. We're going to say on awake. Don't destroy on load camera.main. I guess for now, we'll just return the instance. Does this result in multiple cameras if I switch here and back? Yes. Okay. So if we are loading back into, maybe instead we instead of doing this, we will have no camera. Then the event system, is there anything important here? We kind of just, I hope, if I instantiate event system. So basically what I'm saying is I'm going to create a new game object. So we need a private. Also, with all these instance things, should be doing it like this. Anyway, now we have private. What is the private thing that I'm getting? It's a camera. Main camera. Okay, then we'll do main camera equals new in game new game object name main camera. And what components does it need? A camera, an audio listener, and a universal additional camera data script. Type of camera. Type of I guess what I could do is private static list list of type camera components camera type of camera type of audio listener and type of universal additional camera data. Oh, it's supposed to be not a list. It's supposed to be type. Okay. That covers the main camera. So now event system. And then we need event system components. And the types are event system and input system UI input module. I already forgot what that second word was. Input system UI input module. I don't think I need a reference, but why not? Okay, so I get rid of that, then I press play. What happens? Okay, it looks functional. So now in settings, we don't need these two. Don't need this. Don't need these two. So this intro scene can probably be redone eventually. I'll write a note for me to do that. Intro scene needs to be redone. It's not like a complicated task, just don't want to get sidetracked. And now that I've done this, I can go over here and say, after more thought, I've decided I would like to do this. Just for the sake of organization. Okay, so next, I guess I can just try switching between scenes. It looked a little weird. Um, so what happened? Why am I not able to see? What if I put this in the scene? No, that doesn't matter. Okay, I can see this layout element. Was that the problem? Yes, okay. So for screen space overlay, the Z matters. I'm fairly positive invisible raycast target doesn't need to exist since it's just toggling interactable. So I'm gonna completely get rid of that wherever I find it. It didn't need to exist in settings, so that's why it's not there. There's nothing to interact with here, so it's just in the bedroom. Okay. So now, if I want to go, if I want to do more organization and consistency, I would start renaming these to have, or alternatively, okay, whatever I was just saying, let me wait a second and rethink it. I would create a layouts folder and what would be the point of that? Layouts folder would mean that bedroom ends, bedroom end layout, bedroom layout, diary layout, item zoom layout, full chapter layout would all go in that layouts folder. This thought cloud container probably belongs in the bedroom layout. This line view, I'm not even sure if it needs to exist anymore. And if this goes into bedroom layout and this doesn't exist anymore, then the rest of the contents are all layouts anyway, which means it's not actually necessary to do what I'm saying there. The only exception was for settings, because there is a menu to the left of settings that's always present, and then the layouts are on the right of those buttons, and the layouts are what can change, while the settings buttons will not change when the layout is changed. I'm talking about this. So if I make a layout visible, it's only changing that side. Okay, anyway, I was supposed to go into bedroom and fix the Z on this guy. Okay, now what? Now, I think I'd like to do the... Well, first, I have to test that the thumbnail thing still functions. I don't think it does. And why is that? That is because if I go to... If I go to... What scene? Not scene, what script? It's where the thumbnail is being created. Is that in sprites? It tries to use the bedroom camera, but there is no bedroom camera. But regardless, it sets the bedroom camera's target texture equal to render texture. Now the first problem we have here is, since I removed the camera, this no longer has a reference. So I'd get an exception here on this line because of a null reference. But let's ignore that and assume that I assigned it. Like I made it so that this would refer to the camera in Dear Diary Scene Manager. The camera in Dear Diary Scene Manager when we are creating a thumbnail, it would be looking at the settings at this point. So it'd be creating a screenshot of settings whenever you manually save. So that's not good. So what should I do instead? Also, hold on. Let's wait, I'm not even sure if it would work anyway. Let me try it. So because I wasn't sure if cameras function when it's an overlay. I wrote notes about this, so I'll have to take a look. So let's do Dear Diary Scene Manager instance main camera. Then when I go to settings and try to create a save, let's see what happens. Save test. $61. Oh, I missed this line. Okay. Let's get rid of this completely. I mean, we might not get rid of it. Well, because after this testing, we might need another camera that only looks at the bedroom scene, and so the bedroom camera would need to return. The save got messed up, so one moment. Okay. I was just deleting the bad save. This one did not work because the canvas is screen space overlay. So what if this was screen space camera and was targeting? What if I? So let me create a camera. No, that's not gonna work. Okay, let's Let's go to the bedroom scene now. And create a camera. And on this camera, this is where the this is what the render texture gets set to. And in this situation, the canvas is screen space for the bedroom will change to camera, and the render camera will be set here. This will start disabled. This is the screenshot camera. Let's do serialize field, private camera, screenshot camera. Invisible raycast target's not supposed to exist anymore, but we'll get there later. So now going back here, we'll set the screenshot camera's target texture equal to that, but now we also need to access the canvas. So we will have a private canvas. I guess I'll serialize this as well for now. Then over here, we'll say bedroom manager dot instance dot canvas dot what is it called? Render mode equals render mode camera, and then bedroom manager dot instance dot canvas dot render dot target. Render camera. I change this to be debug. There is just a camera field. World camera. World camera equals this. It'll always be that, would it not? until I change it back to overlay. Well, anyway. Then when we're done, this needs to change back to screen space overlay. And I guess we'll also make sure that this is null. That's another bad save. I forgot to enable the camera. I forgot to assign the canvas. Whoops. Nice. Looks like it works. And if I, whoops, well, whatever, let's just load it. Okay, so this error matters. It's about invisible raycast target. So now I can get rid of that and all references to it. That should not be needed. What would this want to do instead? This would want to... And when we load a scene... It's not related to a scene, is it? It depends where this invisible raycast target thing is being used. It's only being used for settings. It's when settings is loaded, we're going to find the okay, yeah. It's when settings is loaded. This is supposed to be set the canvas group on the find the canvas in the previous scene and set its canvas group alpha slash canvas group interactable slash canvas group raycast target to 0. False. Raycast target false. That's what will go here. This should no longer exist. Now this is to say this says don't okay, I guess another thing to like help with this is add fade out, fade in when loading. Maybe this is annoying to users. Maybe the fade out, fade in. Note. Instead of fade out, fade in, how about fade from black, fade to black? Fade to black, fade from black might be annoying to people who are simply trying to be annoying slash and too much of a time waste. If they are loading frequently. Also, when a doodle is drawn, when loading into the bedroom and bedroom layout is visible, the what's it called? The doodle looks wrong until I can't really explain that better. But anyway, this should say disable interaction on the canvas until done loading. Enable canvas interaction. After done loading, I don't know. On scene unloaded, we will do the same thing, which is enable canvas interaction when settings is unloaded. So now that's no longer needed. Let's look for any errors. Since this is compiling, there's probably no errors. And this problem still exists. It's not going to. Oh, it does. Fade properly. I guess because I added back the destroying stuff. I'm not really sure what I did. Hmm. Or maybe it's already just using one instance now and not creating multiple instances. So I accidentally did it work, made it work. Okay, so there was a flicker. Autosave causes a flicker. When the camera when the canvas changes to screen space camera instead of screen space overlay. The solution to this problem would probably be to make the camera what am I saying? I want to make the camera here just match the canvas. So let's just say for now I do 1920 by 1080. Does that do anything? Apparently not. Hmm. What else could I do? I could look for Unity, make camera match overlay size. Hmm. What problem am I trying to solve here? So when I am autosaving, there is a brief moment where the game has no camera active because the canvas. No, it's not that there's no camera active. Well, it kind of is, but no, it's that the main camera's overlay is disabled. Not disabled, not even that. The main camera's overlay, the canvas. Okay, so what literally am I doing? By changing this canvas to use screen space camera instead of screen space overlay, the main camera, which is not the screenshot camera, it's the other one. The main camera will now have nothing on its overlay, so it changes to just whatever's in its background, which is just black. As a result, that there is a frame where that black flicker occurs, and I'm trying to think of how to get around that issue. Hmm. So how did it work before? Why this was not as problematic earlier? The reason it was not problematic earlier is because I was doing everything on the main camera instead of having a separate camera for the screenshot. So what's the problem with doing that? Well, the problem is sorry, let me say that differently. Why was it not a problem before? It's that by changing the main camera only by only having one camera, when I switch the camera to be displaying to a render target, then the game has no camera active. While there's no camera active, its background was just being set to what it last rendered. So the player would not visibly like be able to notice. So how do I solve the problem here then? The idea I was trying to do, or I'm trying to think of doing, is I will make the I want to make the main cam. I want to figure out how to manipulate the camera to view the canvas. Even when the canvas is in overlay mode. Nine sixty 540. Where'd the... Why'd the canvas disappear? Okay. Um, I do want the camera to be orthographic. Orthographic, since it's a 2D game. There's no point in having perspective. Does changing the scale do anything now? No. This one has background type uninitialized. Nope, I'm still not quite seeing it. Okay, so the question is, when the canvas is rendering, so I guess what I'm trying to do, which I guess is not actually possible with what I'm trying to do, is make it so that the canvas renders. When the canvas is rendering to one camera, I can still have the other camera look at it, and that's not a thing. So, hmm. How do I seamlessly take a screenshot of screen space overlay without causing a flicker? I'm unsure. I don't really want to like move on from this though. I feel like this is something worth figuring out. So my other idea was to duplicate the canvas. Or, okay, what if something I've not really tried is, or I guess I wrote an idea down before and I didn't consider it because I didn't like it, but maybe I should reconsider it. So the idea is the canvas will always render to a render target. No. Okay, no. How about this? When we take a screenshot, the canvas will render to a render target at the resolution that's set in the player's whatever the player's screen resolution they set for the game. Then now this is the part I have to think about. So I want to now split that render. What is the word? I have to go to sprites. Render texture. So I have to make it so that now the main camera, so no, I have to make it so the main camera, I guess two different cameras. No, I'll make the main camera use that render texture, and then I'll make a separate, I'll put that render texture on a different canvas and have a separate camera turn that canvas into a different, or take that canvas and output it to a render texture at a smaller resolution for the screenshot. So let me write that out and see if it makes sense. Okay, so first, canvas renders to main to a camera, which renders to a render. Canvas renders to a camera. Camera renders to a render texture at a full resolution. Render texture is placed on some game object that can be placed on a canvas. Now, on a different canvas, canvas 1 to game camera. Game camera renders to full render texture, or I guess game render texture. Game render texture is placed on some game object that can be placed on canvas 2. Canvas 2 renders to screenshot camera. Screenshot camera renders to screenshot render texture. Now the problem I have is somewhere along the line, I'm assuming I'm no longer going to be able to interact with the components on the canvas with the event system, but I'm uncertain. So that depends on how event system works. Anyway, let's reset that camera to its defaults. Now let's test this idea out. So is it going to be done entirely programmatically, or do I have to create some game objects in this scene right now? Well, first step, I mean, I guess I could test it. Okay, wait. This thing is the problem. I have to figure this step out. I have to figure out what kind of game object I can make render. I can put the render texture on that will be able to view the render texture properly on the canvas. So the first step in that, I guess, is going to be to create a render texture. Don't really care what it is. This is going to be 1920 by 1080 to match the game camera. Screenshot camera should be disabled. There were two different invisible raycast targets this whole time. So I wasn't even done here. Because this was the horror object thing, which I also have to get back to eventually. I forgot to remove this and remove this. Okay, so I have this render texture here. I want to create some object. Maybe an image. Can an image have a render texture? Let's see. Unity, render texture, canvas. No, put put render texture on canvas. Everyone is asking to do the opposite, which makes me think that I'm doing something really weird. It seems like it needs to be on a sprite. How about Unity UI render texture? Render texture in UI. Raw image. Okay. So I can create a raw image in order to accomplish what I want. I think. I guess part of the idea also is that this whole thing is a temporary meaning normally the game's camera is going to just be rendering as an overlay. But in this frame, we're going to switch it. So it's going to change from render mode, change from overlay to camera. Canvas 1 renders to game camera. No. Yes, sure. Then game camera renders to game render texture. From here, game render texture is placed on some game object that can be placed on canvas 2. Game render texture is... So here we create a game object with raw image components. Put on canvas 2. Raw image texture is game render texture. Canvas 2 renders to screenshot camera. That's already not right. So I have to make... So I feel like I'm at the same problem. Which is like all I've done is I've created a render texture. I guess I can create 2. Okay. Canvas 2 renders as overlay. Canvas Create 2 game objects with raw image component. Put on canvas 2 and canvas 3. Raw image texture is game render texture. Canvas 2 renders as overlay. Canvas 3 renders to screenshot camera. Screenshot camera renders to screenshot render texture, which will be used for the thumbnail. When done, change canvas 1 render mode to back to overlay. Okay, so that means I need temp game canvas which will be overlay, but starts as disabled. This should have a canvas scaler, but no, I don't think it needs a graphic raycaster. I mean, it doesn't matter. There are no graphics anyway. Okay, so then we have, this is the screenshot canvas. This will render to screenshot camera. And this will output to the screenshot render texture. Which it'll just create a new one every time, I guess. Okay. This seems like a mess. We're gonna see though. So bedroom manager. No, let's start from sprites. So the first step is the bedroom manager's world camera is targeting screenshot camera, and that's not correct. It needs to target, or actually, is it correct? Hold on. What did I write? Canvas 1 render mode change from overlay to camera, render to game camera. Which should be Dear Diary Scene Manager instance main camera. Sure. Game camera will now render to... No, okay, that's not right. So we need a separate camera. Because I don't want to touch the main camera. I want the main camera to just look at whatever is the overlay. Which is why Canvas 2 is rendering as an overlay. Okay, so I need a separate camera for game camera. Get disabled. This is overlay, this is rendering the screenshot camera, and this camera will need to have a render texture eventually. Okay, so now bedroom manager. For now, let's put this here as the game camera. What's the next step? Canvas 1 render mode change from overlay to camera. That's done. Canvas 1 renders to game camera. Also, we're enabling bedroom manager.instance.game camera. I just need to go over here. So now the canvas is rendering to game camera. Game camera renders to game render texture. So this is screenshot render texture. Game render texture equals new. For now, I'm just going to put 1920 by 1080. Okay. Next step. Create 2 game objects with raw image component, put on canvas 2 and canvas 3. So serialize field, private canvas. Canvas 2 is the temp game canvas, I believe. And canvas 3 is the screenshot canvas. Okay, next. Game object. Raw image object equals new. Temp raw image. And the type it needs is just type of raw image. Now raw image object. Oh wait, sure. Raw image raw image equals raw image object.get component raw image. That way I'll do raw image dot texture equals game render texture. And then I will do game object raw image object 2 equals instantiate raw image object. So we clone it. I need to set their parents. So raw image object dot get component rect transform set parent bedroom manager dot instance dot game. I need to make these have public references. Temp game canvas. Screenshot canvas. Let's just try it like that. Raw image object 2 dot get component rect transform dot set parent. We don't actually need to get that component, do we? We'll just try it with transform. I've never ruled out whether it was even necessary to get the rect transform every time I've done this, so I might as well try it now. Okay, the only other thing is that on these okay, so these raw images, the problem I am going to have at this point is the raw image needs to stretch to cover the entire canvas. In both scenarios. So I will need to get the rect transform after all. Let's break these out into more readable ways. So I want to make this less of a mess, because I mean I'm gonna have to. The goal is to just test if it works. So I'm making it more difficult for myself by doing it in a messy way. But for now it's fine. So I'm doing a raw image object. So what I want to do is just have the shoot, it's the why can't I think of what it's called? Rect transform. Rect transform 1 whatever. I can actually do that later, because this is just to set the thing. Then we instantiate. Then we get the two rect transforms. So now we're going to modify the parent and the anchors. Set size with current anchors. Is that what I want to do? What? Where else have I done this? I don't think that's what I want. I just want to set the anchors directly. Right, so I'm just saying the anchor min and anchor max, which are vector 2s. I don't know what I just closed. Anyway, anchor min equals new 0 0 vector transform 1 dot anchor max equals new 1 1. I think that's what I want to do. And then I just have to hope. So let's say, let me just go into one of the canvases, add a raw image, and then I'm just going to set the mins to 0 and the maxes to 1. So now the problem is the left, right, up, down is weird. So these need to be zeroed. How do I modify those? Unity rect transform. What are the properties? Anchored position. Yeah, I think I just want to do rect transform the anchored rect transform 1 anchored position equals new 0 0 0 0. What? No, I want to set the Unity rect transform set what are these called? Position X, X, Y, Z width height. No, down here. Left top, right bottom, Z. Set left, right, top, bottom of rect transform in script. It's the offsets. Okay. Offset min equals new 0 0. Offset max equals new 0 0. That should be what I wanted to do. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. So now I've created the objects and put them on the canvas. Raw image texture is game render texture. That's done. Canvas 2 renders as overlay. Canvas 3 renders as to screenshot camera. I believe I've already done that. Overlay, camera to screenshot camera. Screenshot camera renders to screenshot render texture. That I need to do. So bedroom manager dot instance dot screenshot camera dot target texture equals screenshot render texture. And now I can do the rest of the stuff fine, which is setting the width and the height using the 240, 135, calling render. I guess I should also what is this for? Currently active render texture. What is this for? Unity render texture active. So this is saying if all you need is to make a camera render into a texture, then use camera target texture instead. I've done that. This says when a render texture becomes active, its hardware rendering context is automatically created if it hasn't been created already. So in this case, we need to make the I'm not sure if there's anything more I have to do. I need to be right back. Okay. To here. So, I just need to. Well, I've made. Have I made the. This should be game camera. The game camera's target texture is game render texture. And then game render texture gets put on the raw image. Raw image is put onto two different canvases. One canvas is for the screenshot camera. The other canvas is the overlay, which is what the main camera will be looking at. And hopefully this just works. I'm not doing anything about enabling these cameras. When I should, so let's enable them only in this specific scenario. So after setting the target texture, I will do it corrected that, or I don't understand, but okay. This gets set active, and I think the other camera already gets set active anyway, so the next step is down here. Destroying the texture, destroying the screenshot render texture, destroying the game render texture. Anything else? I should destroy the raw image object and raw image object too. And bedroom manager dot instance dot game camera dot target texture equals null. Okay, there may be some issues with the order of which I'm doing things. We will find out. No, let me just start a. Ew, what the heck's wrong with this? I thought it looked weird when I saw it earlier. I ignored it. The background Z is wrong. Okay. Okay, so when I press space, the game is going to autosave, and then I assume everything's gonna blow up. So let's find out. Well, so it wasn't quite right. So what happened? Neither thing succeeded. How do I debug this then? So what could be wrong? First step, the canvas render mode changes to camera. Sure. Um, so now the canvas, so okay, the canvas render mode is set to here. Then the canvas world camera is set to the game camera. Then the game camera's target texture. So that means the canvas is now rendering to the game camera. Then the game camera is rendering that into a game render texture. So here, I guess I'll do bedroom manager dot instance dot game camera dot render. To force it to render. Is that line needed? Let's find out. So I will press space. There was still a flicker. I wish I could just I wish I could see what the render. Hmm. So let me rewind in my head and think. So previously, the screenshots were able to work when I took the one camera that existed and I changed its render target to the render texture. And then did this. So what if I change this active line to be game camera? Will this at least prevent the flicker? Sorry, I tabbed out, so I didn't get to progress. So I press space. I still see the flicker. Okay, what if I do the thing where what if I tried a thing where I always render let's think of a different approach. Let's say I went back to having no screenshot camera. So that we go with the no, because I wanted to use the black background for a reason. By like changing the alpha, so I didn't want. But anyway, I'll go down this thought process regardless. So let's say I only use main camera. Main camera now, when I take a screenshot, is gonna have the settings in the way. Can I make the camera what I do, it's very simple actually. I will okay, so let's go to settings. So now what if I change this to be -1? So now in the overlay, it's behind. So that's what I should. Oh, but then it's still gonna cause the flicker. Well, it might not. It won't. It won't cause the flicker. Well, I don't. No, it will still cause a flicker. Will it not? Will it not? Uh, if if there's no camera being rendered, the background type does not matter. There's gonna be no camera active. Okay, we're gonna try this method instead. So I have to backtrack very far. We're going to let's start in the scene. So back to the bedroom scene. We don't need any of those anymore. Now let's get rid of the references. We don't need these two. We don't need these two. Okay, and the only place they're referenced was in here. So now this line, these two lines are not needed at all. The camera's world camera should be set to Dear Diary scene manager dot instance dot main camera. Game render texture should not exist. It should just have its target be the screenshot render texture. Don't need to enable anything. Do not need this game object. Do not need this game object. Do not need to do anything here. This should be changed, except there's a duplicate, so we don't need that either. This changes. We will call render only once. The active whatever is going to be the main camera one. Then we change these two. Don't need to do anything related to game objects being active. But this target texture just does need to be set to null. Don't need to destroy anything else. Okay. So all the changes have been completely undone. Now, the only thing that needs to be changed really is the canvas. The canvas sorting order plus equals 1. Or plus plus. And then minus minus. Let's try it. Save test 4. Well, save test 5. Um, Should it be -1? Because I guess... Yeah, I don't get it. The thing I don't get is... when I modify the sort order, it's not changing properly. So I guess I'll just set it equal to 1, and then over here I'll set it equal to -1, and then maybe that'll properly fix the order. I don't know. I mean, I do know. If that order thing is the issue here, then that would be the fix. No. Okay, so something else funny is going on. So changing the... Do I have to call like force redraw or something? So because the settings... Wait, fine, let's do that. Let's do the bedroom manager. No. We need the settings manager to have canvas on it that I can refer to. Or maybe this is the part where when I switch between layouts or scenes or layout or it's scenes, when I switch between scenes, and this is the replacement to the invisible raycast target thing. That would be the solution here. So let's do that right now. What exactly am I doing? I am going into here. I'm going to access the bedroom manager instance canvas. I need to... So it's not the canvas, it's a canvas group. I can't get the canvas group like this. Like that. I guess. Canvas group. Blocks raycast equals false. Interactable equals false. Alpha equals 0. Okay. Enable canvas interaction when settings is unloaded. So 1, true, true. This should say do not advance if canvas group interactable is false. The root canvas group is not interactable. Currently, this isn't going to do anything. This is going to matter. This will matter. Actually, it will matter in a horror object. I could just do it right now. Bedroom manager instance canvas group interactable equals false. True. Okay. Is there anywhere else that was supposed to do stuff with the invisible raycast target? Other than settings? It's when you load. Dear Diary Scene Manager. On bedroom scene loaded. Disable interaction, whatever, in here. Enable interactable equals true. Interactable equals false. Raycast target doesn't matter, I believe. Okay. Let's try this. Whoa. Okay, so in this scenario, the bedroom manager doesn't exist. It's the title screen. Okay. So instead, this is in Dear Diary Scene Manager. We need to copy how this layout manager works, but it's going to be the active canvas group. Canvas group, active canvas group. Private canvas group, active canvas group. And if this is null, then we're going to find it. Canvas group where I don't think this is how I want to do it. Is it? Maybe I'm just supposed to do find game object dot find canvas get component canvas group. Is there find all? That doesn't work. Okay. Find object by type canvas where canvas game object scene equals and now here's a problem. What scene? So it's not the Dear Diary scene manager's scene because that thing exists across scenes. So instead, I'm not sure. One easy solution is well, I mean, I'm not sure if I like this solution, but valid scenes, new string, title, and bedroom, where valid scenes contains canvas scene game object scene name. First, get component canvas group. So the problem here is this needs to be set to null whenever the scene whenever the scene changes and the scene's name is not equal to settings. If or I could do on scene unloaded. Valid scenes contains scene.name equals set the active canvas group to null. Okay, what does that accomplish? That means that now this should be active canvas group. Let's see. I did not put the canvas group on the canvas, and I have to do that in title and in bedroom. Whoops. On scene unloaded. We'll say so here's a problem. So in the if we are unloading the if we are in the title scene and then we press load, settings gets unloaded. This I guess I can just check if active canvas group is not equal to null. Then I'll do active canvas group. I'll do this stuff on the active canvas group. Then if the this is a little bit redundant if we're on title because we're going to be updating these but then leaving anyway, but it's still fine. Okay. So all I have to do is test the save. Save test 6. Dang it. What the heck happened here? I can test autosave. It probably didn't, though. Why would the save have not worked? Oh, right. Well, it's because the canvas alpha is 0. So if I do 8, sorry, not this one. This one. If this canvas alpha is 1, it would work. But then it would create a flicker. Shoot. So I'm still back to the similar problem, aren't I? Well, no, now the new problem is... The new problem is... Okay, geez. We're back to like a much older issue, which is when I press save, if I'm like I don't know. I'm so okay, so I solved the I believe I did solve the raycast problem. So like that's why I'm on here and I cannot like accidentally press some other button. And then here, sorry, if I load here, I cannot, oh. Let me load this one. Yeah, I have to wait until it's done loading before I can interact with anything. Let me do it again to demonstrate. It's that the canvas is not interactable. So the button is dimmed, and that means it prevents me from progressing until it's finished loading. So I guess I could also add some like loading text. Anyway, this is out. Maybe add loading text during load to identify to the player why they to give a reason to the player as to why to hopefully show the player why they cannot they cannot interact with the scene. Okay. So yeah, that's taken care of. So now in here, I shouldn't mess with the sorting order stuff. What I should be doing is Or maybe I should. I'll set the sorting order for this canvas to 1. Is it still going to do the flicker? That's the whole problem. It's still doing the flicker. I'm going to try it anyway. I'll do dear diary CManager dot instance dot active canvas group dot alpha equals 1. And then down here, alpha equals 0. Okay, so now let me load here. Let me save as save test 9. It looks like it worked. Okay. Feels a little janky, but maybe it's fine. So I've been at this for almost 3 hours. I think I will stop for now. So what did I accomplish? The autosave causes a flicker when the canvas changes to screen space camera instead of screen space overlay. We're going to assume this is not an issue because, or we're going to assume this is not an issue because when there is no camera rendering, it looks like the game will render whatever was previously being rendered. Okay, so then what? That's the same thing as this. Wait, what does this say? Autosave causes a flicker when the canvas changes to screen space. Oh, this is the same problem as above. Wait, let me test that then. I don't actually think I tested the autosave. Well, that's even worse. Okay, so this line is effective if we're in settings. It is not effective if we are autosaving. So what do I do? when I create a thumbnail, no, it's just if we're saving and no matter what, when we save, it's going to be from settings. So it is true that the only problem would be for autosave. So I mean, like, I could just check if uh, autosave equals its file name. It's not the case that autosave equals file name, then we'll just do this. I don't really know how I feel about that solution, but it will work here. However, I do suspect it might... Will it cause the flicker then? Probably not, right? No, other than that, the original problem. So this is just fixed, but then this one... This is important because we are fading to black, then creating whatever, so the fade... I put this comment on the wrong thing. That should have went here. Anyway. Every don't destroy on load might be better. I did this. I did this, but I did it differently. Okay. We are only using one camera now. This is done. Intertitle needs a fade in. This corresponds to this one. Related to below. Loading its bedroom and bedroom layout is visible. The doodle, that's a new problem. This was added today. This is new. This is new. This is new. But this is done. This is now done. This is done. I think. This is done. Okay. So now I just want to go to GitHub Desktop. This, what did I do today? Again, I write that it's, use only one camera in the whole project. For the whole project, use one camera and remove invisible raycast target. Use one camera only. Remove invisible raycast target. Anything else? That's pretty much it. It's just the auto save and the camera rendering things were related to the camera issue. So we're just gonna commit this change and move on. Okay, so that should be done. I guess I'll also leave a note to myself. I could just do it right now, but saves need cleanup fair frequently because I often make changes to how we save or what info is being saved. I should add a delete save button. I should think of a way to delete a save in the game instead of manually navigating to manually removing them in the save directory on my computer. Overwriting an existing save would solve this technically. Alright, that's pretty much all I want to do for now. Since it's been 3 hours, I'm probably not going to do anything more for today, but we'll see how I feel later.